Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today for Coffee Chats. I've got a couple of things that I want to talk about before I turn it over to Jeff. First of all, we've got a new feature on the computer in the library. If you missed the Coffee Chats on the scrolling board in your apartment on channel 991, you can always come down to the library. The computer has a feature, just an app. All you have to do is use the mouse and click on that, and it will show you what Coffee Chats was. So you can always come down and do that if you miss Coffee Chats. Another thing too is if you want to just call the front desk, you can let them know. If you're not able to come down to the library for some reason and you want to view Coffee Chats in your apartment, we do have the capability of running that episode again for you. So please don't hesitate if you miss something or your computer, or excuse me, your TV's acting up or anything like that. You can either come to the library or call the front desk, and we'll make sure that you get that either in your apartment or in the library. That's kind of a nice thing to know. Another little thing that I wanted to talk about is that the store is opening. It's been closed obviously because of the coronavirus, and we're really excited that it's back in business. We are starting with all of the hours and days that it used to be. If there's going to be any changes, obviously that would be something that we would put on channel 991. But if you don't remember back that far to what the hours and days were, feel free to refer to 991 right now, or go ahead and call the front desk for all that information as well. Let's see. The only other thing is that with regards to the library, we were really having only one person at a time with a big sign that said no gathering. And due to the size of the library, we have expanded that just a little to allow 2 individuals in the library at any time. Masks on, and please keep your social distance of 6 feet or more. And there's still a sign that says no gathering. We can't wait for that to go away, but not yet. So enjoy. Jeff, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you, Paula.
You bet.
Hello, everyone. This week with the vaccine, Minnesota continues to vaccinate 75 and older. It's 65 and older is the group, I guess, that they say that they're vaccinating. But the state is getting an allotment of vaccine weekly, and they are divvying it up between the biggest healthcare providers in the state and their pilot vaccination spots throughout the state. It seems to be that most of the Ridgepoint people are getting their vaccinations through their healthcare provider, and many times that healthcare provider is calling them, which is really, really good. It does not look like Ridgepoint is going to be able to have the vaccinations brought here. We are not registered as a housing with services in the state of Minnesota, so we kind of lose our spot in line at that. So please work with your healthcare providers and check your email often. Maybe it's in a letter. What we've been advising people to do lately, and I suggest this strongly too, is call your doctor or your healthcare provider. Healthcare provider being your HMO or health insurance or what have you, and make sure they have your updated information. I believe there might be some people living at Ridgepoint that maybe don't have the internet or an email or a MyChart account, and their medical people don't have their phone number. You move to Ridgepoint, it's an easy miss. You don't change your information and if you haven't been to the doctor for a while, the doctor's calling a number that's been disconnected. So please call your doctor, tell them, hey, I believe I should be priority for a shot. I haven't heard anything, just wondering if you have my proper information. So let's start with that. Keep trying to get the vaccine. Don't give up. The numbers in Minnesota are very, very impressive. Certainly the number of deaths has gone way down, and ultimately that's the key statistic. And I think that once that starts to that's obviously a indicator of how rampant the disease is. So by all means, keep trying to get that vaccine. You can opt not to get the vaccine. There, and where we're troubled is the vaccines were introduced rather quickly, and they don't have a lot of hard data on the effectiveness and, like, are we going to need a COVID shot every year like the regular influenza flu shot, or is this a one-time deal in our life, or is it going to be on an as-needed basis? We don't know that. We don't even know if you get the shot. What we think we know, and when I say we, I mean science, what we think science knows is that you can be vaccinated, not get the vaccine, yet you're still transmitting the virus. Okay? That's not good. I think that what society or what the state government has done is we vaccinated the right people. Most of the deaths in Minnesota and across the country are in nursing homes, assisted livings. And those are areas where if one aide has the virus, they can spread it to 8, 10 people and all that stuff, because that aide is giving care in each apartment. And thank heavens, Ridgepoint being independent living, and that's why we're not registered as housing with services, is we don't have all that contact with people that may possibly be infected. So we're happy that we're safe, but that does not mean we're still not at risk and that we don't need those vaccines. So get those vaccines. If you decide not to get the vaccine, depending on what the data going forward shows, that will determine how we open things up, I believe. And we're making an assumption that it's going to continue to go at the pace it's going, which, even though the number of vaccines isn't all that high, it's been very effective because I think we're vaccinating the right target group. And so we don't know if we can allow people that haven't had shots into group settings. We just don't know that yet. But I want to give you a heads up. If you choose not to get a vaccine, there is a chance, and I am not saying that you're not going to be able to participate. I'm just saying that there may be a chance that you'll need proof of a vaccine to participate in maybe going down for dinner or riding the van with more than 2 people. Those are things that obviously we want to get going. We want to get all that stuff up and running. We've got plenty of apartments to rent. We want to get back to making Ridgepoint the fun, loving, independent place that it is. And we just can't do that right now. And it's time. And with the introduction of the vaccine, there's hope. Hasn't been a lot of hope up until now. This weekend, speaking of hope and or lack thereof, Minnesota winter is going to be here this weekend. And it's going to be here with a vengeance. It's going to be cold. Before the weekend, it's a really, really good time for Ridgepoint in that it's going to start getting cold Thursday. We'll have Greg and Jim here. Greg and Andy. Sorry, Andy. Greg and Andy here, Thursday and Friday, their day to work. It's going to be cold. Make sure your apartment is warm. They are coming in Saturday and Sunday. They're not coming in with the design on going into people's apartments and fixing things. But what they're going to do is they're going to read the boilers, make sure that we're putting out the amount of heat that we need to do so that we can keep people as warm as possible. So make sure your windows are closed. Make sure your fins are open in your heat vents. It's going to be cold. Your apartment is going to be colder than normal. It may get down to 68, 69. If it gets too cold, let us know. And we can go check, but expect it to be a little bit colder. So make sure you don't. I know a lot of people love to have a window open. They love that fresh air. That's okay, but when it gets this cold, you might want to close that up so that we're not, the heating system will have a big enough fight on its hands with just the cold weather. We don't want to make that a bigger fight by having windows open. So that will be a good thing about COVID is we don't have a lot of visitors coming and going, and in theory, our lobby will remain warmer. It just bugs me when people come visit and we get both doors open and that cold wind just whips into the lobby. Okay, I think that's it. I forgot to read my puzzle, didn't I? Should I read the puzzle today or should we wait till next week? Okay, I'm gonna read the, okay, give me a second. Okay, some engineers are contemplating building a suspension bridge across the gorge at Niagara Falls. Okay, so you've got the raging river below, and you've got to get cables for the suspension bridge from one side to the other. But there's no way to get the cables across because there was no boat that could fight the current. The engineers and builders figured out how to do it. Now this is a gorge, right? So you're up the river and the falls are down below. The engineers and builders figured out how to do it, and they staged a contest on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. The contest was open to the public, and the purpose was to help get these massive cables across the gorge. The contest was won by a young boy, and shortly after the contest was completed, they were able to run the cables from one side of the gorge to the other. What was the contest? A young boy won it. Roger, do you have an idea what the contest is? He made it look like he was shooting a gun. How's that going to work? No, he's not talking because he's not confident in the deal. No, how about a kite flying contest? They fly a kite across the gorge, and so they've got a kite string from the little boy's hand to the kite. Well, they tie up a little bit heavier string onto the kite string and pull that across. And they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger till they get a rope or another cable that can support the cable. Now, we're a little out of sync here, but I'm going to tell you a joke too. Two guys are out hunting, and one of the hunters collapses, and the other one looks at him, and he doesn't think he's breathing, and his eyes are all glazed over, so he pulls out his phone, calls 911, says, yeah, my hunting partner is dead, what should I do? And the voice on the other end goes, no, settle down here. We can help, let's make sure he's dead first. Silence, gunshot, guy picks up the phone, okay, now what? Have a good week, everybody.